Hey everybody, welcome to the channel where we learn, create, and share. My name is Greg, and in this video, I'm going to be making a huge castle mural. Here's the grocery list of all the things I'll be using in the video. I'll also have links to those items down in the video description, including a discount code for basically everything off at the Monport website. A quick word on the material that I'm using in today's project. I'm using this really thin and flimsy 1/8 inch pressboard that I've painted. I did a test piece yesterday. It engraved and it cut beautifully. However, when I went to go clean it up, I used far too much water and some of that water soaked in and it bubbled the material, and it also started to cup and warp as it dries. So if that happens on this one today, I've got some backup material, and that is going to be this nice high quality piece of 1/4 inch tiger wood. This was actually the original material that I was going to use. However, this stuff costs quite a bit and it has a beautiful wood grain structure to it. And I thought it'd be a real shame to cover up this wood grain by simply painting over it. But if I do have to use this, I'll simply water down some white paint and kind of apply a whitewash coat to it. It'll still be white, but I'll still be able to see that nice wood grain through. So one of the things we're going to learn in this video is whether or not it's a good idea to use thin and flimsy material on a really huge project. Now, with all of that covered, I'm now ready to jump over into the computer and we'll check out the graphic that I made for this castle mural. The software package I'm using is called Lightburn software. It pairs very well with CO2 lasers and a lot of other types of lasers that are compatible with the Lightburn software. Let's check out this graphic that I created. Looks pretty cool. Here's a quick shakedown of everything that we're looking at. This orange outline, I drew that. That is the size of the material that we just took a look at, and it's a full 4 feet wide. So this, like I said, is going to be a huge castle mural. I'll zoom in a little bit, and everything that's in black is going to be a line engraving. It's going to really speed this project up. If I did this as a regular full engraving, it is going to take a long time. It'll still look nice, but in this video, I just want to speed things along. When I zoom back out, I outline my castle project and put it on a different layer. This is going to be a cut layer. We're also going to see that I've got 2 other pieces here because I'm going to put this gate behind this other gate so we get kind of a 3D effect. And then I'm going to take this part here and put it behind the center part of the castle. So it's going to be kind of a layered project a little bit. I wanted to add that extra element of depth to this castle mural. Off to the side, I drew this array of all these little pieces. These are going to be spacers that I can put behind the castle. When I hang this up on the wall, if my castle mural does have a little bit of a cup or warp to it, if it's tight against the wall, that cupping and warping really shows up. But if I can space it off the wall, say maybe a 1/2 inch, that cupping and warping is far less apparent. That's a quick little tip for you. The other thing that we're actually going to check out on this is we're going to see that I took this castle turret and I put it behind this wall section and I made the rest of the castle turret disappear. I'm going to show you how I did that. And if you're familiar with Lightburn software, you're going, oh, he's using the cut shapes feature, and you'd be partially correct, but that command doesn't work with these complex shapes. I'll show you what I mean. This cut shapes command is going to work with one complex shape and one simple shape. Right now I've got 2 complex shapes. If I take this castle turret, I move it down to the wall and I select them both and I go Tools, Cut Shapes. Cut Shapes does not show up. I can't do anything with it. I'm going to move this castle turret back up. It's looking for that simple shape. So I'll draw a simple shape like this circle. And I'll overlap it with the castle turret. I'll select the castle turret and then the simple shape. And now when I go to Tools, Cut Shapes now shows up. And now I can grab that little piece and throw it off to the side and delete it out. I'll Control Z and move back a couple steps. So how does that apply to kind of cutting out 2 complex shapes? Well, I'm going to take this castle turret and move it back down. And I'm going to take this wall section and I'm going to use an offset command so I create a simple shape around the wall. We're going to see that my offset distance is really, really small. And now when I zoom in, I can select the castle turret and that outline shape, that's the simple shape. And now when I go over to Tools, Cut Shapes is now available. And when I click on that, that outline piece, that cut shape disappears, of course. And now I can click on the bottom cutout of that turret, take that off to the side, and I can delete that out. Now, of course, by using the offset on the wall command, it is going to leave a little bit of a gap there. If that's a problem for you, you can always just move that shape down a little bit further, this castle turret, and close off that gap. For me, for this project, I don't mind leaving that in. But in short, that's how I use cut shapes onto complex objects. My project is made up of 3 simple layers within the Lightburn software. The black layer 00 is set to line, speed of 75 millimeters per second, and a max power of 20%, minimum power of 19%. The red layer is set to line, and the speed is far slower at 15 millimeters per second with a power level of 50%. This is going to easily cut through that pressboard. The last layer is going to be this T1 tool layer. The tool layer doesn't cut or engrave, but it's perfect for laying out graphics and associating where those graphics are within the computer screen and aligning it up to the material inside the laser machine. Everything's set up within the software. I'm going to get some material inside of the machine, get the focus set, get some background music on, and we'll watch a short video montage of this huge castle mural being made. The engraving's complete, and now it's time to check out how it turned out. Here's all my little support pieces, and those cut out beautifully. Here's the gate behind the main gate, and the wall with the turrets that'll go behind the castle. And for the main part, one little piece hanging up. There we go. It's all out, and this looks fantastic. See if we can get it all in the frame. This looks great, and now it's time to make it look even better by cleaning up some of the smoke residue on the surface. For this, I'm going to use some LA's Totally Awesome, followed up by a damp cloth. Everything cleaned up great, and more importantly, everything is still nice and flat without any cupping or warping. While the pieces continue to dry, I'll plug in my hot melt glue gun so that I can glue the spacers onto these pieces so that they can be attached to the back of the main castle. Everything's looking good, and now I'm ready to start gluing on my little spacer pieces. I have 4 of them, one for each of the corners of the gate, and I have pieces here for this guard railing and the 2 turrets, with one piece going in the middle to help bring some stability to this piece when it gets glued behind the main castle. If you're wondering why I cut so many extras, well, I had the space on the material and I'd rather have too many than not enough. This thing is so huge, it doesn't even fit in the frame. I'm gonna get this set up and we'll take a close-up look at the gate and at the layered back with the turrets and a couple of the other design elements I built into my castle. Here's the entire castle view. This thing is nearly 4 feet wide and just about 20 inches tall. This thing is absolutely huge. And let's take that close-up look that I promised of the front gate and some of the other castle elements. If we look through the front gate, we can just see that there's another gate behind the first one. And here's that second layer with the 2 turrets. I like the effect that I get with even just adding 1 layer onto this castle. It really adds a lot of depth. In this tower, I cut out the little windows, adding in that little extra detail. This castle looks great just the way it is, but I want to do a little bit more. I want to add some detail by adding some color accents. I'm going to use some of my favorite acrylic paints to add those color details. I'm going to finish this up off camera. I'll join back up with you once everything is all complete. The color details are all complete, and I even went one extra step and put an LED light strip on the back. This project turned out great, and to answer my question from the beginning of the video, is it okay to use thin, flimsy material on a project this large? And I would say, yep, it's okay. Just remember that I glued some strips on the back side to help keep everything flat and straight. Join me in future videos on the Laser channel, and don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, or ring that notification bell. Not only is it a great way to help the Laser channel grow, it's an excellent way to connect video content like this with other great viewers just like you. Well, until we meet again in the next video, learn, create, and share.